thank my colleagues and friends for giving me this opportunity to talk to my fellow citizens from Andhra Pradesh, the state I so proudly represent in the parliament. I thank my very old friend. His name is written there as ex-MP, but I can call him as future MP, Mr. Haribabu, who was MLA, and we had worked together for one of the most ambitious projects India had ever undertaken under the leadership of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. I was the chairman of the task force for IntelliGov River, and Haribabu was my colleague there. I can also thankful to my dear friend and colleague in Rajya Sabha, Mr. Narasimha Rao, for being there, and I can assure you, he's a very active member of parliament and very articulate spokesperson for the party. We two of us will, as team, will work together to solve all your problems. We'll go together and meet whoever needs to be met, including Prime Minister or ministers, and we'll follow up all the issues of my home state of Andhra Pradesh. I'm also thankful to Mr. Madhukar, who actually works always from behind the scene, but works very effectively for facilitating this program. As I came in, I was listening to Mr. Bhaskar Rao. Though he was speaking in Telugu, he's again a very good friend of mine. But Mr. Bhaskar, when he was speaking in Telugu, I cannot speak Telugu, but I understand a little bit of Telugu. So I could very clearly see how the problems of the industry today, in the future, what happens once the lockdown is lifted. As far as today's problems are concerned, the small and medium enterprises are the biggest sufferer of the process that started with lockdown. Because they have limited cash flows, their margins are very small, their fixed overheads, their job is to supply orders in a given point of time, and all of this has been unfortunately disrupted. So we have to take care of the small and medium scale industry in a big way. One is from the taxation side, whether it is GST or direct tax like income tax, or whether the credit limits. Some of them are getting working capital limits, and the working capital limits are normally reviewed once in a year. But knowing today's situation, how banks can actually increase the working capital limit on ad hoc basis, maybe 25%, 30%, so that they can get over the cash flow issues. The third problem is the fixed cost, whether it is rents that they pay or whether they have to pay salaries. How do you actually take care of that? I think we'll have to work on that as well. And also, can we get from the GST that they have paid in the last few years, can you get some sort of a loan against the GST? And of course, can we get a credit from the banks on an enhanced basis by credit which is guaranteed by the government? So these are the few of the issues that we have to deal with, and we must work on it. The other part of the problem, of today's problem, is how can we start the closed units as early as possible? Because more it is delayed, the losses that are suffered become permanent part of the balance sheet. So once the capital is wiped out, it is very difficult because the debt equity ratio will depend upon equity, net worth. If the net worth is written off because of losses, then how do you actually get future loans? So how do you therefore starting the unit as quickly as possible so that fixed cost can be recovered, more revenues can come in, and therefore the business can actually start working as efficiently as possible in a shortest possible time. So these are the few issues related to today's times. The other very good opportunity which will come, I am very sure it will come, is once the lockdown is lifted, not only from India but globally, and when the economic activity starts globally, if not fully, at least partially, and when everybody is going to think about why did it happen? Why 2 months back, nobody could imagine in the world that the whole world will be closed, that no flight will be flying, no car will be on the road, railways will not, there will not be any railway tracks will be empty. Could it ever happen? Not just in India, it is globally. And particularly, United States, it's the biggest economy of the world, is suffering the most. Europe, which is again combined Europe 28, EU 28, is almost the second largest economy of the world together. They are also the second sufferers. The second economy on a country-to-country basis, China, where it started. Japan, third largest economy, which is also suffering today. So why all the top developed world has suffered more? And then they'll start thinking about, if something went wrong in their own policies of the developed countries, did they choose the wrong partners? Did they not think about openness, democracy as the guiding principles, even in economic decision making? Could they not have invested in India rather than China at that particular time? When these questions will start coming in, I am sure India would be the natural choice for those countries to come and invest. When that happens, where will they go? They'll obviously go to any country which offers them help. Like we also seen that Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam, Indonesia, they're also trying, and rightly so. Bangladesh has already done well in case of garments. There was a time when Bangladesh was not a garment exporter, and today Bangladesh exports more garments than India. A smaller country than India exports more than India. That means competition is bound to be there. But there are certain advantages we have. The industries which we like to come, many of them would like to be export-oriented companies. And there, as Bhaskar Garu was saying, that we have an advantage. Andhra Pradesh has coastline, east coast, and east coast is closer to the areas where the future growth is going to take place. The technology may come from US or Europe, but the thriving markets of the world will be in Asia. And therefore, Andhra Pradesh will have a natural advantage of taking advantage of the tomorrow's emerging situation. And therefore what he was saying, that special economic zones and the issues like that need to be addressed. As a former commerce minister, I had actually set up a group under chairmanship of Baba Kalyani, who is the owner of Bharat Forge, one of the top forging company in the world, to look into all the issues, and we have actually prepared a completely action plan for that. Also, I prepared an action plan for a $5 trillion economy when Prime Minister Narendra Modi is actually working towards making India a global power. How that $5 trillion economy will come, I had prepared a roadmap of 20% of that, that is $1 trillion will come from industry. And which industry? We had gone into the details of that. Which industry can come, and that too in participation of the industry leaders, whether it is Mahindra, whether it is Tata, whether it is Birlas, who are actually involved in manufacturing. So we prepared that plan, and we had detailed how much of that $1 trillion which come from which sector. Then 60% of $5 trillion, that is $3 trillion, will come from services. We had actually prepared which services. We identified 12 champion sectors of economy which will benefit India to grow. Because you know, services create more jobs than manufacturing. Therefore, services have to be also encouraged. And for that, we set up 5,000 crores approved by the cabinet to be given for the 12 champion sectors of economy, so that become globally scalable. A third segment is in agriculture. Prime Minister wants that our agriculture farmers' income should be doubled. Actually, to do that, we need to export more, because otherwise the prices fall when the production is more in India. To do that, we prepared a first ever India's agriculture export policy, in which the idea is to take agriculture export to $100 billion. What is agriculture? It includes agriculture, horticulture, milk, that is dairy products, all marine products. And Andhra Pradesh has a coastline, so marine products have a huge potential. Aquaculture is more in Andhra Pradesh than any other state in the country. And meat. All the five put together is called agriculture export, which will be $100 billion. Just imagine, Andhra Pradesh could also play a key role. We must try very hard, and I am willing to be an ambassador of Andhra Pradesh to make this happen globally. We must go and talk to individual companies and bring them to India. And not India, but Andhra Pradesh. Of course, I am not against other states, but I am saying because this has natural advantage. Andhra Pradesh, most dynamic people. Just tell me, again, I am not trying to be parochial in when I am saying this. In the United States, the most successful entrepreneurs from Indian origin are from Andhra Pradesh. Not all, but many of them. Most of the budding industrialists, the first generation industrialists which came up in the last 25-30 years, Many of them are from Andhra Pradesh. The top pharma companies, whether it is Aurobindo Pharma, whether it is Dr. Reddy's Laboratories, where most of these companies originated from Andhra Pradesh. Many IT companies. So Andhra Pradesh has a natural advantage because it has a human capital, it has a natural capital, coastline, it has already a track record, so we can actually work on making Andhra Pradesh as a natural choice when the people would like to move from other countries and come to India. And to do that, we must have a strategy, we'll work together. But as I said, we as a team, whether it is my friend Hari Babu, whether it is our Narchara Garu, we all will, Madhukar Garu, we'll all put together, we'll make a team to ensure that our industry, which is under umbrella of Andhra Pradesh Industries Association, Industry Chamber of Commerce, I can assure you, we'll work together as your partners. We don't want share of profit. When partner means profit share has to come. We'll make sure that we'll work as your partners where you take the profit and we'll put our labor to make Andhra Pradesh as one of the fastest growing economies of future. As Hari Babu Garu said, unfortunately, when the UPA partitioned the state, they did not pay heed to the Andhra Pradesh's interest. Liabilities went to Andhra Pradesh and assets went to Telangana. As a result of which, Andhra Pradesh is overburdened with challenges and we have to tackle those. And to tackle those, one of the best way to do is to bring entrepreneurship, industrial growth, agriculture growth, services development, so that we will become one of the fastest growing state in the country. And to do that, it is all possible post the COVID. So coming back to the point, today's situation is definitely a challenging one, particularly for the small industry. And when the big industry is going to be suffering, again small industry will suffer more because most of the orders come from small and medium scale industries from big industry. So we'll work on all this. I can assure you my support and I'm very happy that I could participate in it. As Hari Babu Garu was saying, I'm a sixth term in the parliament, fourth term in Lok Sabha from Maharashtra, one term in Rajya Sabha from Haryana. But I'm very happy that Prime Minister and my party president then Amit Shah ji chose me to represent Andhra Pradesh. If I was to represent any other state, I would never have realized how good the people of Andhra Pradesh are. And I'm saying this genuinely from the bottom of my heart. I received so much of love, unadulterated love. So this is my bounden duty and responsibility to work my friends from Andhra Pradesh, and I can look forward to coming there. In fact, Madhukar ji and we are planning a trip to Andhra Pradesh to 3 more districts. Every time I come there, I go to 3-4 districts. Unfortunately, because of this, the trip had to be postponed. But I really look forward to coming there, and I'll come to Visakhapatnam, where again we'll sit down and talk about this. And as you know, Bhaskara Garu, we have already discussed that sometime in the past. We'll again discuss it and we'll work together. Actually, as I said in the beginning, these kind of interactions help us in understanding the issues far better. Because one is to look at it from a theoretical perspective, and one is to look at it from a practical angle. And where the shoe pinches, only those who wear the shoes will know. So therefore, these are the type of feedback that we have got from the people who are actually running the industry. And you are at the apex of the industry, so you are actually articulating the concerns of all your members and all the players in that industry. So we really wish to thank you for that. I am not surprised by the quality of suggestions that have come, because they have come from such enlightened people like you. So I think this is really, really useful. For example, just now, our Bhaskara Garu was saying, I think really it is such a valid point that the world is changing so fast dynamically. Do you have some sort of a center which can guide the people about the changes that are happening globally? The changes are going to happen at such a fantastic speed that if you cannot keep track of it, then we'll be losing out on an opportunity. But it is not possible for an individual company or individual industry to keep track of all this, because they are very complex issues which keep changing. So we need to set up a center like this. In fact, I'm very glad that when the Commerce Minister, I was debating this idea of can we create a global vision center to advise a small medium enterprises in India. So I think this is something which we'll pursue definitely. As I said, we have a very distinguished leader sitting here and my party colleagues, and we'll all take forward and work on it and can take it forward. Again, the portal that you talked about for raw material, etc., I must share with you something very interesting. Prime Minister Modi worked on a portal for government purchases. It is called GEM, Global Market, Electronic Market. What is a market? Government wants to buy something. Any entrepreneur, if registered on that portal, he can actually, the government will buy directly from him. It's very transparent, things will be properly known. So I think this type of ideas are already there for portal. But what you are suggesting is raw material kind of a thing, which can also be extended beyond it. I will talk to the GM person because this was under me, and we'll try to take it forward. Pan-India policies is a very good point related to transport and health. I think that's something which we really need to do, and these are the kind of things which you've taken. I am very happy that my friend from IT industry, Mr. Naresh Kumar, made some very interesting points. One of that, and I fully agree with him as a chartered accountant, that on one hand, I have to receive certain amounts from the department, from income tax department. On the other hand, I have to pay to the income tax department. Why cannot there be a systemic provision made whereby I can adjust that due so that I don't have to unnecessarily pay interest? The second point is also, which he made a very valid point, is the tax-direct tax source. It is normally raised when the invoice is raised. But money may not be received, or money may have been maybe received at later date. So why should I pay on the date when the invoice is raised, but why not on that? Again, Mr. Nareshwara Garu and we'll work together, and I think Finance Minister will actually, Nareshwara Garu will together, will go and meet the Finance Minister and take up this point. But it's a very, very valid point. In fact, I fully agree with you. Other very interesting point you have raised, and that is also portal, and again, being an IT man, you have put it very, very correctly, that cannot have the government and central government invoices, and as you said, 10 lakh crores, which is to be received from the central government alone, and the tax dues, tax refunds which have to be paid. If that is given, the system itself will take care of it, because the amount of money that has to be received and we are paying interest, as you said, 10%, 1 lakh crore, I think that again can be adjusted. So I think we'll definitely work on it. The export interest subvention amount which is not given by the bank, I think I will talk to the RBI governor also today, and we'll make sure that they also take action on it, because this is something which is approved by the government, and therefore we can definitely take care of it. Rapid testing point, which I mentioned, as it is started by Emirates, which is very good point. I think this will again hasten the process of starting the communication very quickly. Logistic, and I think Mr. Sambasiva Rao made this point, which is also a very good point. Incidentally, Mr. Sambasiva Garu, the logistic was never considered as a standalone activity. I must give credit to Prime Minister Modi, and he made first time in India logistic division in the Ministry of Commerce, and he gave the responsibility to me when the minister we started working on it. We have created a logistic policy. We have created a logistic action plan. I think one day I would request Haribabu Garu that in Visakhapatnam or somewhere wherever you feel appropriate, we can have a program on how logistic in India is going to generate more jobs. I will bring all the top players in logistic into this, and there is an organization called CILT which will bring all the top players, and we'll actually work with our friends in logistic industry from Andhra Pradesh, and we'll try to take this forward. On textiles, it is correct, energy intensive industries, and this is the problem of power cost. Actually, I'll tell you something. The Electricity Act 2003, again I am just saying because I had introduced that law way back under Atal Bihari Vajpayee. There was a provision in the Act that industry should not be asked to pay for the consumer. There cannot be a cost subsidization. If government wants to give subsidy to any section of the society, they should not ask the industry to bear the burden of it. The government must pay upfront to the government DISCOM so that that burden will not be carried by the industry. Because if industry carries the burden, how industry will be competitive? And if industry is not competitive, how will they employ people? So in fact, from social angle, if you want more employment to be generated, you must make industry more competitive. And therefore, by making competitive only, we can create jobs. Example is Bangladesh. Bangladesh employs more people in textile now than many other countries in the world, only because they have become competitive. And therefore, we must work on this and try to work on this. Salary support is something which you asked for. And very good point, which was made by travel industry, that LTC should be given only for domestic travel. Again, Nareshwara Garu will take up this point. It's a very good point. There's nothing to lose, because anyway, LTC is given. Why you want to give it for the foreign travel? I think these are very good points, and I can, Satya Kumar is also here, my dear friend. So he's also based in Delhi. We'll go as a joint parliament as well as party delegation and meet the finance minister as early as possible. I'm in Delhi, Narsira Garu. Anytime you feel Satya, I'm also in Delhi. Anytime you decide, we can go and meet the finance minister. Taking this point, my request to Haribabu Garu is that if you can get this representation and send it to us, then we can also carry it with our party. This, I'm not, please don't misunderstand my friends from the industry. I'm saying party only because we are party to your problems. We are, I'm not, but we are party to your problem. We'll work together. So we don't want to politicize it, but we want to tell you that we'll take it forward and make sure that we work with you and we'll make sure that we solve this problem. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I had to just go for another video conference. They one from one to another. I'm moving. Like Narsira goes from one TV studio to another TV studio. I think we'll definitely work together. Thank you very, very much. And we'll really look forward to working with you. And soon, I can promise you, when I come to Andhra Pradesh, we'll also spend time together. Thank you very much.